Thank you, Kay, and thank you so much for inviting me back. I really enjoyed meeting lots of you last year and giving you a little taste of the 2019 Fringe program last year. So thank you so much for inviting me back to talk about the Adelaide Fringe 2020 program. And as Kay said, the Adelaide Fringe is the largest arts festival in the Southern Hemisphere, and that is really thanks to the Adelaide audience who come out every single night of the whole month of Fringe. And I know a lot of you in this room do come out every night of Fringe as well, or maybe not every night, but also the number of Adelaide people that invite their friends to come to this city during the month of Fringe, and those tourists are incredibly important to the whole story of the Fringe and the impact that we have on the state. So I thought I would just, seeing as we're 60 years old, I might give you a little bit of a snapshot of what sort of growth we have experienced at the Fringe in the last 20 years. That graph on the screen, there's a screen over there and there's one here, that is our ticket sales. So last year we sold 828,000 tickets, and it's a phenomenal number. We are responsible for 40% of the entire nation's arts festival tickets. So all the rest of all the festivals across the whole of Australia are 60%, and Adelaide Fringe is 40%. That's just such an amazing, and it's a round of applause to everyone who attends. And in 2000, on that graph, you can see we were at 100,000, which, if you remember, back in 2000, we were a big festival, already taking over a lot of the cities. So that exponential growth that we've experienced is really amazing. In the last 7 years, we've doubled from 400,000 to 800,000. Our target this year is 900,000 tickets, and hopefully we are going to hit it. We are well ahead of where we were this day last year at the moment, so we're on track to do that. And I think a lot of the story of why we are so successful in our tickets is that Adelaide Fringe is an extremely inclusive festival. We try to be for everybody. We try to make sure there's something for everybody. And as people get older, they still come to the Fringe, or they just go to different things, or maybe they take their children or their grandchildren. We don't seem to lose any age group. So most festivals, if you go to a festival, most of them have got a particular demographic in age. But Adelaide Fringe, you know, we have people who are 80 and 8 and 18 and 28 and everything above and below. So it's an incredibly inclusive festival, and we are very proud of making sure that everyone feels that the Fringe is for them. I'm just one of the areas that's really been feeding our growth in the last few years is that more and more venues that are not normally venues, they might be a laundromat, or they might be a restaurant, or there might be something else during the year, but more and more of them are wanting to become part of Fringe. So the transformation that happens in Adelaide is the fact that a lot of areas that are not normally for performance suddenly become for performance. So we've got some new ones this year. Ayers House is a venue for the Fringe. The Botanic Gardens, the hall at the back of the Botanic Gardens is becoming a theatre. The tunnels under the Treasury on Victoria Square have got a lot of shows down in the tunnels. Rumpus in Bowden, Tonsley Hotel, I could go on and on. We have over 300 venues. And of course there's the venues that are year round, like the Rhino Room, which is a wonderful comedy venue all year round and is also a wonderful Fringe venue. Are there any other Fringe venues in the audience that I should be aware of? I noticed Rhino Room, father of Rhino Room is here, David Egan. And old right. No. And also the other thing that's worth noting is that Fringe is going on tour more and more. So we have Fringe in the Barossa Valley, down at Marion Cultural Centre, Port Augusta, Whyalla, Murray Bridge, Flinders University, Mount Gambier. The list goes on and on. We've got a lot of Fringe up at Salisbury, Goolwa. So that's the other thing that's driving the growth, is that the audiences are staying with us and new audiences are coming in, but we're also spreading out across the city. And it's not just those people think of the Rundle East End, the Garden and Gluttony. Of course, they are significant venues, but they really only make up, a percentage of our sales. Our sales are across more than 300 venues. The impact that we have on the state is really significant. It's measured independently by economists to be $95 million gross expenditure impact on the state budget that the Fringe has annually, and that last year we had an impact of $38.5 million from tourists. So that's new money to the state. That's not all of us just going out and spending money at the Fringe. That's like tourists that come in and who wouldn't have come otherwise. So it's really amazing. Our box office last year was nearly $20 million. And the way the Fringe works is if we sell the tickets for the shows, but the artists, we're selling it on behalf of the artists, and so they get paid the money. A lot of festivals in the world, they curate from the top down, and then the artist gets paid an agreed fee regardless of ticket sales. That's not how the Fringe works. The way the Fringe works, it's a little bit like the way Airbnb or something. We are a platform. If you want to have a show in the Fringe, jump on board, register. We will sell tickets for you, and then we pay you that money. The artists and the venues get the money. So it's a massive injection into the arts, nearly $20 million that we are injecting, that is not relying on government, that is actually going directly from audience pockets to artists and venues. This year we have 1,207 events. So if you want to go to them all, you have to go to about 40 a day, I think. So that would be impossible. And actually, no, we're nearly up at 400 venues this year. So it's an incredible spread. We also, what I want to do is not knock that down. What I want to do today is try and just highlight to you some examples of some great shows for you to go to. Of course, there's hundreds of other shows that I can't get around to today, and I'm sure that many of you in the audience have got some favourites and are even involved in some shows, and feel free to yell those out in question time and we can promote them. We're doing an amazing Aboriginal projection project at Tandanya every single day from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It'll be like you're walking in an Aboriginal dream time. The projection will be above you, all around you, the Milky Way above you, flora and fauna all around you. It'll be a truly magical experience. Some of you may have seen our projections on the river last year. Well, of course, they couldn't start till it got dark, so we couldn't start them until 9 o'clock at night. We thought, let's bring it indoors, because then school children can come, everyone can come. It's free, but you do need to book a session because it's limited numbers during, you can't have too many people in there at once. So please do. It's perfect for all ages, great for kids, adults, everybody. And it's running every single day of Fringe. And that's a big part of our mission in recent years at the Adelaide Fringe is to increase Aboriginal storytelling at the Fringe, and so we're really proud to bring Yabbara Dreaming in Light to the audiences. For some fun for our 60th birthday, we're going to have an outdoor giant sing-along. It's going to be at Lot 14, which is the old Royal Adelaide Hospital. 32 microphones. Around each microphone you can have a whole group of people, and the good news is there's auto-tune in the microphone, so if you can't sing, your voice will be auto-tuned, no one will know. And There'll be a lot of. It's free to come along noon till 7 every day. So it's not a nighttime thing; it's a daytime thing. And there'll be, I think, 50 songs in the selection, and you get to choose your song, and the lyrics are up on the big screen, so you don't need to know the lyrics, and you don't even need to know how to sing. You can be part of the giant sing-along every single day of Fringe. So we're hoping that people will come out and have a bit of fun with that. The other thing we're doing to celebrate 60 years is we're bringing out all the posters of the Fringe, and we're having them enormous light box lit up along North Terrace. And so you can promenade along North Terrace after you've seen a show, and they'll all be lit up there. And they're so iconic because the posters of the Fringe each year are really the image that represents the Fringe of that year. Now, we are 60 years old, but there's not 60 Fringes because we used to be every second year. So we've had about 37 Fringes. So you'll see as you do the walk, you'll notice every second year, and then we went annual in 2007. And if you think back to that graph where we took off in ticket sales, when we went annual, it just stayed about the same for a few years, but then it really took off. So it took a little while for people to get into the annual groove of the Fringe, I think. The other thing we've done for 60 years is we've made an amazing limited edition big coffee table book, which is A3 size, and it's as if somebody for 60 years kept a scrapbook. And so it's just all the clippings and all the little articles and comments and photographs, memories from artists and so on. It's limited edition book. It's available for sale on our website. It'll be a collector's item. It's just full of wonderful Fringe stories. I highly recommend it. We've also made, Channel 44, the community channel, has made a documentary about the Fringe, 60 years of Fringe, and we'll be having a screening of that during Fringe at the Mercury Cinema. So if documentary is your thing, come along and see that. We also we know the Fringe program's overwhelming and it's 1,200 shows, so we always try to create new ways of navigating the program. And one of them is the Matinee guide, so Fringe by day, and it's great. It's absolutely packed full of shows up until 5 o'clock. So they're basically for people that want to go and see shows before it gets dark, want to get home or want to use the public transport easily during the day. Obviously, there's lots of kids' shows, but there's also lots and lots for the young at heart happening during the day as well. And the access guide is also available for anybody who has any special access needs. We have printed a guide, but it's also available on our website. And I'm hoping that will meet anyone's needs in terms of we have Auslan interpretation at certain shows. It highlights which shows have wheelchair access and all sorts of other assisted things with different shows. They are hopefully helpful when you try to navigate. The other good thing about the website is there's many, many filters on our website, so jump in and just put the dates you're looking for. You don't need to look through 1,000 shows, just filter it down. In cabaret, a wonderful genre at the Fringe, our opening weekend, only for a few nights, is A Migrant Son by Michaela Berger. She is an Adelaide star, really. Incredible story of her life growing up in Coober Pedy. And there's even a Greek feast along with that show. Velvet is back. So Marsha Hines, Velvet was really born at the Adelaide Fringe some years ago, and since then it's taken off around the world. And she is an ambassador for us this year as well, and it's great to see her back. Hugh Sheridan, he was an ambassador for us a couple of years ago, another wonderful Adelaide success story. He created the California Crooners especially for the Adelaide Fringe in 2016, and again that's been touring the world. Another Adelaide success story is Hans, who is wowing American audiences at the moment on America's Got Talent, and he's on his way to the grand final of the championship of that show. But yeah, he's running pretty much for the whole almost the whole month of Fringe. I'm just giving snapshots. I couldn't possibly go into all the favourites, but theatre. There's a wonderful theatre called Holden Street Theatres. It's really great, good parking. Definitely check it out. There's a great show there called Grounded, which is featuring Martha Lott, who runs the theatre. There's also Eleanor's Story, which has been a hit at the Fringe for some years now. Wonderful theatre, and it's in Gluttony and also at the Parks. Peter Gers is back, and he's at Holden Street every weekend. There's a beautiful theatre at the back of Botanic Gardens in the Noel Lothian Hall, and it's called the Black Box Theatre. The program's incredible, so I really encourage you to have a look at it online. Have a look at the Black Box Theatre on our website. This play, I will tell you this for nothing, My Mother the War Hero, was a great, has been a great hit so far in other places in the world, so looking forward to see how it goes in Adelaide. Henry Naylor, if many of you have been to Holden Street in recent years, you'll know Henry Naylor. He has been winning the best theatre almost every year in the Fringe for 3 or 4 or 5 years now. And he's back again. He's a British playwright, and he's at Holden Street. The play's called The Knights. Joanne Hartstone is a wonderful Adelaide actress. She's got a play called The Girl Who Jumped Off the Hollywood Sign. It's a wonderful play. I really recommend it. Lou Blackwell, singing in French and just with the most incredible, beautiful voice and a lovely jazz band quartet to accompany her. She's got a couple of nights down at the Marion Cultural Centre, and then she's also at the church on Halifax Street, St John's Church, I think it is. And then a Marlena Dietrich show, which is just beautiful. That's again at the Black Box, a wonderful night of that. We run a community fund at the Adelaide Fringe and an artist fund. Last year we raised $127,000 and we give that money out. We don't keep any of the money. We gave that money out in grants, and we also gave it to... we buy tickets for disadvantaged communities who can't get along, wouldn't normally get along to Fringe. So we buy tickets. If you're interested in contributing and helping with the community fund and the artist fund, please let us know. It's a wonderful thing to see lots of the kids come out and who can't normally get along to things like the Fringe. And there's the dates of the Adelaide Fringe 2020, 14th of February to the 15th of March. It's a marathon of an amazing festival and something that the Adelaide City, the South Australian population should be so proud of, because without the population coming out every night, we wouldn't be the biggest arts festival in the Southern Hemisphere. So thank you so much.
Before we go to questions, I'd just like to say happy birthday to Heather for 2 days ago. Another one of our birthday people. And I'd also like to announce that Harold Schultz has got a show on again this year, Stand Together, a celebration of friendship. So, and if there's anyone else here from the Fringe, would you like to speak up now? David's already got his. Okay, right. Now, has anyone got any questions for Heather? Thank you. Thanks, Adrian.
My question is to do with the venues. The venues and obviously the fact that you're spreading outside Adelaide in terms of venues. I know that the bushfires this year obviously arrived quite late in terms of your Fringe planning, but have you planned or have you considered doing any moving, maybe some existing venue to those areas, KI in particular, but the Adelaide Hills obviously should be not too difficult, and maybe otherwise a consideration for next year?
Yeah, thank you. We've had discussions. I've actually went to Kangaroo Island pretty much straight after the roads were open, so pretty landed the day the roads were opening, to go and talk about that exact thing and talk about how could we help get some fringe activity on the island. I'm talking to South Australian Tourism about it, and we're trying to see what we can land. It's taking a little bit longer in its discussions than I would have hoped, just because of the timing of all of it. But I know that there's definitely going to be we're definitely going to be doing some stuff. It might not be during the Fringe month. But in terms of Adelaide Hills, there's going to be there's something like 100 and something fringe shows already in the hills, and so what we're doing is promoting those shows and sort of promoting that people go to the hills, spend some money at the wineries, at the restaurants, and so linger before and after they go to the show. We're also working in partnership with a number of artists who are donating their tickets. So in that case, we are also donating any of our fees. So there's quite a few of those fundraisers, and you'll see them across the website. And also, I must say that our wonderful sponsor, Tomich Wines, lost a lot of their vines, so it's very sad for them. And
member of our club.
Oh, great, yeah. And we have been helping on their working bees, and all the fringe staff have been up there, and that's been really sad.
Heather, I just saw a photo, looked like it was from 1960, of the original, whether it be office or something, looked like an old delicatessen taken over. Is that building still there, and where was it?
Oh, that is the cover of the book. So it's wonderful. Every year the Adelaide Fringe poster is a competition. So we get hundreds of entries, and a winner is selected to be the poster of that year. It's always forever been a competition. And for the 2020 poster competition, this beautiful painting was entered, which was that delicatessen. And if you look closely, all the different posters from all the years are on the window. And it was decided that because it's our diamond anniversary this year, the winning poster is a diamond, and you'll see it rolling out across the city. But everybody loved this poster of the entry with the delicatessen. And so we contacted the artist and said, would we be able to, instead of using it for the poster, use it for the cover of the book, which he was really thrilled with. He's a local Adelaide painter, Donovan Christie, his name is. He's a really great artist. And I think he told me, is it on Torrens Road? I can't remember where he said it was, Churchill Road, Torrens Road, South Road, something like that. But it just looks like all those delis that we all used to go to, which have slowly all disappeared.
Another question?
Mr. Egan.
Thank you very much, Heather. I have to say that if I'm the father of Rhino Room, it's an illegitimate child, because I've been a few times and they swear too much for me, I'm afraid. But no, son Craig does a wonderful job at running the Rhino Room. I was talking to Craig last night, and he's organising lots of things at the moment, very busy. And he made the comment, a bit worried about the coronavirus and how that might have an effect. Does that sort of come into your thinking a bit?
So we had, so far, what's happened with us is one show from Korea has cancelled their season. So the other thing that we run in the background of the Fringe, you wouldn't see it, it's not a public-facing part of the Fringe, but an industry part of the Fringe, is we have a very thriving marketplace at the Fringe. So hundreds and hundreds of delegates come in from all over the world, and they're looking to buy the shows to take them on tour. People come in from New York looking for shows, France, Germany, Taiwan, America, Canada, everywhere. We did have about 10 Chinese delegates coming in to look for shows. They run theatres and festivals in China. They've cancelled because that travel's been blocked, and we're still waiting to see if any of the Koreans delegates may have to cancel as well. But so far, that's the only cancellations that we've had. But yeah, we hope it doesn't have too much more of an effect.
Do we have any other questions?
Hello,
Oh,
Dave.
sorry, Peter.
Peter.
Thanks, Richard. Not a question, just you asked earlier about shows.
Is it time for you?
No, we've got another 10 minutes.
That'll be him now. Rick Carter, our a former member and still a friend of our club, has actually got a show he's putting on. It's about his battle with cancer, which he's currently winning. I've just been madly scrolling to try and find the name of it, but keep an eye out for it. It could be a bit of fun.
Yes. Do you know which venue it is?
No.
Okay.
And that's why I was trying to find out. But it just, to me, highlights that you mentioned the word earlier, Heather, about diversity. And so that there's such a wide, diverse range of topics that people cover in your Fringe. So well done.
Oh, thank you. And it's true, the diversity is amazing. People, it goes from physical circus and amazing feats of the, physical theatre to talks and workshops and interactive walk-around shows as well. There's actually walking tours as part of Fringe, and there's almost nothing that doesn't go. So it can be as serious or as funny or as physical. Yeah. One more.
Heather, how much of the Fringe is local versus elsewhere? Or I suppose you could put it into local, Australia, international.
Yeah. So about a third of the program, so around about 300 shows, or maybe 400 shows are South Australian. And about it's funny, it's almost a third, although the international is slightly less than a third and the local's slightly up, but it's only a few percent. So it's approximately a third South Australian, a third Australian and a third international. That's in the artist program. In terms of the box office is, although the box office tends to be around similar ways to that spread, but then of course in every ticket sold, if it's an international artist, it's still an Adelaide venue and their percentage is still staying. So the percentage of the box office that is remaining in South Australia is more like 50%. Because of the venues getting their percentage cut as well. So it's a huge amount that stays in the state. And in terms of the industry marketplace that I was telling you about before, the shows that get picked up and taken on tour, the spread is around, it falls almost the same again. So around about a third of the shows that get picked up for tour are South Australian, a third Australian. So it sort of goes all the way through. Last year we know that we measured deals reported in the marketplace. So someone bought an artist show and took them to New York or Paris or wherever, and we have reported over $4 million worth of deals in the market. That's just what people tell us. So sometimes they don't tell us everything, but we do sort of write to them a lot to ask them, because it's very important for us to be able to tell the story back to. It's actually a main reason why the artists do register in the Fringe. Not all of them, because some of them aren't in there to go on tour, but it is a very big factor. The fact that we've built this marketplace is a very attractive factor for the artists.
Oh, thank you, Heather. That's the
last one there.
I've got one more question.
One more?
Quick
Yeah.
question. Sorry.
Hi, Heather. Hi.
Yes.
How do people of disadvantage access tickets? You were saying you support disadvantaged children? Yeah,
so we work with various charities around Adelaide to buy tickets to shows for foster children. We work with Down Syndrome SA, we work with Aboriginal family support, all sorts of different people. But if you want to talk to me about a particular one, then feel free and I can follow it up. Great. I just want to let you know that if you are interested in any of the slides that I talked about, if they're of interest to you, there's a few copies around the place of my PowerPoint, and there's a few copies outside when you leave. So if it's of interest to take home and look through the shows or anything, then feel free. I've also left the Fringe by Day guide is dotted around as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Heather. I mean, what an inspiring person, and Fringe for 60 years, it's incredible. I have to admit, the first Fringe that I saw when I came back to Adelaide was the Doug Anthony All-Stars, and look where they went. It was fantastic, I can tell you. First of all, Heather, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
And we also, for all speakers, we give a donation has been made in your name to help the eradication of polio in the world. So our club does that for you and polio.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do we want to pay for it?